And joining us now for analysis on this military helicopter tragedy is Eric Lionheart. He's a former U.S. Air Force combat controller as well as president of the First There Foundation. Eric, of course, our deepest condolences go to all the affected by this incident. You are very familiar with the Apache. What is your understanding of what may have gone wrong in this particular incident?
Well, good morning. I think it's too early for us to really speculate, right? The Army CID, which is their FBI, if you will, is going to investigate along with the safety board. They're going to look at their communications, the weather, mechanical. They're going to review any type of issue that that helicopter had. Obviously, look at the pilot maneuvers. So it's just too early since it just happened less than 24 hours ago. But you have that saying, you train like you fight. So I don't know if they were doing high-speed maneuvers or testing out something new on the helicopter. So who knows what it could have been.
Yeah, certainly. We're reminded of how risky and how important this work is of the military. And of course, safety always comes first. But we also heard about this incident with Marine One quite recently. How risky are these operations? To use, to revisit that analogy you just used.
Well, I think people forget that the military it is a dangerous job, right? In every sense, even in training. And you do push your equipment hard because when you do go to war, you have to be able to test that equipment and ensure that it's gonna last and it's gonna keep up with the needs that you need when you're in war. So it's just hard to tell what happened. But as far as the risk, I mean, there's always risk. Even when we jumped out of airplanes, there's risk that your parachute wouldn't open or that something would break on your harness or even fast roping, right? I mean, the dangers of the military job is extreme.
Yeah, indeed. Now, your foundation, First There, supports veteran and first responder families. When something like this tragically happens, how does the military, like all of those brothers and sisters of the two affected, as well as their families, cope, recover, and heal from an incident so tragic like this?
Well, the first 24 hours is the worst, right? It's a wave of sadness and pain that's going to affect the family member, the crew, all their teammates, their crew chiefs, their unit, their family and friends, their loved ones. And then as it ripples down to organizations like ours and First There, we're out there and usually we're referred by somebody else that knew those people, and all we can do is comfort them and see what we can do. But you got to imagine that when that family first loses their service member, the amount of outpouring that comes towards them and it's a good thing, but at the same time that family is just tremendously shocked. Phones never stop ringing, emails, social media. I mean, it's just the wound is deep and wide. And what we try to do is to give them that support and give them that comfort and give them that space that they need to heal. And when they're ready to start healing, then we're there for them for sure.
Can you go a level deeper on some of the work that you've done and some examples of what that arc looks like for somebody as they go through this initial shock and then they start to have to rebuild their life without that loved one?
Well, we have a flagship program called Operation Soul Rescue. We started in 2023. And a lot of foundations go out and treat the mind and the body, but ours deals a little bit more with the soul. Now, I know that people forget about that, but the soul is very important. Your mind and body can heal and you can get strong and eat right and do all the things. But if your soul is injured, there's really nothing that can repair that. So we try to focus in on that with the initiative of the plant medicine, which is psilocybin and ayahuasca is the main thing that many people have come out now and said it. In fact, the VA just talked about authorizing the studies into psilocybin to help people with depression and some mental health issues that helps reclaim their mental health.
Yeah, and we've seen the president starting to allow some exploration of these things that can take a different approach to help, as you say, heal the soul. And can you take a moment to speak to civilian families, just to help them better understand and appreciate the mindset of the life of military and first responder families?
Well, as far as for civilians, there's a chosen few that get to do this job, right? Whether it's the military, first responders, there's certain people that have that patriotism, or maybe there's just something that in their bones that strike that fire, that want to help, that want to run into that burning house, or want to go into danger, or go out to foreign lands to defend their country. And we should protect them, and that's a great asset for America. And I think for civilians that don't get to do that job, we owe them a great deal of gratitude to not only those people that are doing that job, but also the family members, because we do put them through quite a bit, the worry, the pain, especially like a situation like yesterday, and our family members probably would want wouldn't want us to do those type of jobs, but they also understand that's what makes us happy. That's what we were put on earth to do. And fortunately, they get to grieve and feel that pain when we're no longer around.
Yeah, the call to service and the important work of healing the soul. Eric Lionheart, President, First Air Foundation, thank you so much for joining this morning.
It was my honor. Thank you.